Hey there. Hi. Oh, hold on a minute. I've just. Oh, in fact, in fact, you can see me, can't you? So yeah, I just realised that I can't see myself. So hey there. How you doing? Charlie Winters here with horse racing and football selections for who knows what day it is. 25th of January, and it's Saturday. Saturday. So let's get into it. First of all, let me go off on a tangent. So before the odd person starts downvoting, I want to ask you a question. The subscribers or the non-subscribers, a question. First of all, obviously, I'm in a bit of a vulnerable state at the moment. Um, what I'd like to ask you is what is your take on death? I know it might sound a bit, come on, Charlie, keep it off here with comfort tips, but it's quite an interesting subject, especially when it affects you, no matter what's died. Some say, "Oh, Charlie, when you're dead, you're dead. That's it." Well, if that's your thing, then that's it. But over the last few months and probably the last 5 years, my eyes have been open to just how corrupt. And I'm not a negative person, but corrupt, evil this actual place is. I'm not talking about the vast majority of people. I'm talking about the system that we're born into. I'm talking how a lot of the time we are treated. Um, I'm talking about how governments have treated us, how governments spend us money deliberately, how we're being financially crippled deliberately, how this actual whatever you think this world is basically the system that we're born into is, for my opinion, from the minute we're born, is against us. Don't get me wrong, people can succeed and thrive, but in my opinion, it's so difficult. I could go off on a so much more tangent, but it's like the history that's happened in the past. Some things you can't question. Well, why not? Let's discuss them. Let's learn more. You know what I mean? But you're not allowed to. Otherwise, you're anti this or something denier. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, so I no longer believe in any history that happened. I'm sorry for that, the people that might affect, but even the stories that were told, maybe some of it is true, but um, it seems like we're always the victim or we're always the winner on this side. And I see so many events that have happened over the years, probably even more recently, where um, it's turned out that we've done certain things or our government has done certain things. And in the end, they didn't have these things that we were looking for, but a lot of people died in other places because of it. Um, I'm also um, I haven't become religious at all, but um, I do think the Bible or certain parts of it or certain the breaking of the seven seals is certainly becoming. Um, I think it's deliberately becoming a playbook rather than. I think it's deliberately being played out. I researched the breaking of the seven seals the other day, and I actually asked ChatGPT to break it down into what could it being played out in real life now, and give me how to prepare. And I tell you what, I can't really share it unless anybody wants me to, but it makes me look bonkers. But I'm seeing certain aspects of it that is like, yeah, the event when came in when the horses broke out of Buckingham Palace, and there's certain things where there was what was it? There was it a black horse, a brown horse, or two brown horses and a white horse? Behold the pale horse. And for some reason, I think these were warnings because some of these mean famine and destruction and death. Well, the white one, I find it very odd that you didn't see any of these horses injured, apart from the colour, the pale one, the white one, was the only one that was injured and it had a massive red wound on it. I find it very interesting or very, what do you call it, coincidental that the fact that the only colour that we saw of the horses was the one that was injured and it was actually red. Do you know what I mean? As in, like, why didn't the red horse get a bloodstain? Why didn't the black horse get? But it was a white one. So yeah, I am bonkers. I fully understand that, but it's the way I'm able to deal with things like that. So I'm going to get into the horses. So first of all, I need to be honest with you. I haven't lied in the past. My name isn't Charlie Winters, and I've made that quite clear in my about page. I should tell you my name, not as though it's anything to hide whatsoever. Charlie Winters is the name I used to write in a horse talk magazine. So I thought, why not stick with it? My name is Sean. I shall tell you why I'm telling you very shortly because obviously I'm going through a bit of a trauma at the moment. People have gone through far worse than this. Don't get me wrong, and it's my traumas from the past that make this trauma particularly hard to get over. From events that happened when I was a child, I wasn't a victim or anything like that. What it was, I want to be completely honest with you. What happened was I came from a broken family where my mum left when I was younger. Not her fault. She did what she believed was right, but it traumatized me from when I was younger. And I believe I'm not a victim. I believe it has always affected me in my current relationships. Well, not in one, but the future relationships, and how I deal with the loss of things. And whenever I lose something, I normally go around the bend because I must find the answer. Whether that is what happened during the relationship, I must find the answer. And because I'm like this, I normally end up being part of narcissistic abuse. And I'd never even heard of that word up until somebody gave me some information, and obviously I had to research the pants off it. And yes, I'm not a victim. I just leave myself open to those kind of traumas. So it's now much more. I'm now much better for being in control because I can now see narcissism from an absolute mile away. And this is why I think being on this earth, sorry, whatever you want to call it, construct, I believe this is a complete and utter test. Um, yes, and I do. I believe that for those people, I believe that people are always scared into dying, and I don't think you ever really die. I think this place is a test. And I believe if you don't quite pass the test, I think you come back and you try again. I honestly do. I don't know what the pass criteria is, but I don't think I don't think I'm ranking too high. But yeah, I do believe it's a test. I'm sorry for all them down votes I'm going to get while. So my name is Sean, and the reason why I tell you this, right? I'm going to get into the section very, very, very shortly. So apparently, the energy and the spirit still lives on. I'm talking about my chicken now, or even anything. And I'm going to sound bonkers, but clearly, if you knew me, I'm not. Well, they've never said I am. So this particular instance, let me go back to the first incident. Right, my granddad died. I don't know, about 8, 10 years ago, and I moved into his bungalow. Long story short is, several months after, I slept in the bed that he actually died in. Don't get on, the covers have been changed and all that kind of stuff, even possibly the mattress, or at least it turned over. I once had whatever it was, and I was lay in that bed, fast asleep, I think. I once, what I did was, I thought I was awake. No, sorry. I knew I was asleep, but I knew I was like, I knew I was asleep, but I felt awake. And I felt like I was lying on top of somebody, and their knee was in my back, and it was like, but I could not get out of this bed. I'm like, I am not one of these nut jobs. If somebody told me, I'm thinking, oh, here we go. Where's these Bibles is going to sell me or something like that? Here we go. Is the A course he is selling in description? Well, no, there's none of that. I could not get out of the bed. I was still, I think, fast asleep, but knew I was fast asleep, but was trapped. And it absolutely shook me up because the reason why I tell you this is because in the past, my mum has always said, there's a robin on fence, it's your granddad. I was thinking like, oh, here we go again. If that's your way of dealing with it, yeah, crack on, mum. I don't believe you. Well, I do believe things come back now. I honestly do. So obviously, in the past few days, I've been trying to contact my spirit or soul from my bird. And don't get me wrong, my chicken has been living indoors for the last few weeks. So what it did say, some of these videos did say, you might start finding feathers. Well, don't get me wrong. I've been I've been finding feathers for weeks now because it's just had free range of, or literally free range of my house, which I don't get. I don't give two of the capital F's about what people think. But so I'm finding feathers over there, so I can't use that as a sign. So what I did say, I says, please chicken, or you know how you say prayers. I'm not religious, but when it comes in handy, I say prayers. So I'm saying prayers, and I'm on the lookout, and maybe it's because I'm subconsciously on the lookout that things appear when they shouldn't do, or whatever it is. Maybe explain in the comments if you've got something similar. So I'm nearly done. So I finished work yesterday, and I've said my name is Sean. It's Sean B. Yeah, you don't need my surname. I'll give you Sean B. That's it. So as I was walking home, I walk along a stretch of road where it's about half a mile, but probably maximum you might get 4 or 5 cars past you, but maximum you might get a couple of lorries as well. So I did have literally probably 3 or 4 cars past me. Yeah, one was a car that I know somebody. Yeah, thanks for giving me a lift. No, I'm just kidding. So the second or third car, it was a big black car, and I don't know my cars. I don't drive, but this car drove by me, and the registration. I'm crying over registration number. The registration number was. I know people have private ones. Was you spell my name like this: Shaun, and then it's B. The car registration number of this car was SH4UN space B. Don't get me wrong, I've heard of coincidences, but how many cars are there in the world with that registration number that live in my area that where I have had something die recently where I am asking for a sign and I don't swear, and a chuffing car drives by me where there was only 4 cars drive by me with my name on the number plate. Could somebody please explain that? Anyway, let's get into the selections. So this video is probably monetized. I'd be interested to see what adverts you're actually showing. You might be showing reincarnation adverts. Let me just see where my face is. I'm sure it's an absolute mess. This video. Oh, yeah. While I can see myself, I'm going to show you something. It's a tub. Well, you need to see that way around, really, because all the bits of it gross. It's a tub full of feathers, and it's my chicken's final poop. Yeah, that confirmation. I am bonkers, but anyway, let me get into the selections. So these selections I can see now are the big price ones where I think they've got a bit of a sniff each way. I probably kind of forgot a lot of the reason why I picked them, but if I can remember, I'm going to try and let you know. So it's a 10 pence each way Canadian, and I know for definite I've had each way singles because that's why I've missed out the singles in the Canadian. So the 10 pence each Canadian comes to £5.20. Then I've had 75 pence each way singles. So the first selection is Whistle Stop Tour. It's in the 1240 at Cheltenham, paying 3 places instead of 2. So this horse, I've looked at the more fancied horses. Don't get me wrong, they are light years above this horse, but it's a handicap. And I think there's a little bit more room for improvement for this horse. This, I do believe, I'm sure I picked this race because, in fact, I might as well show you, Enter. I'm sure there's doubts about whether some of these selections actually stay the distance or have got too much room for manoeuvre. I don't even know if you can see this page, but it's too late for them to ask because it's not a live video. I'm not going to see a comment until after I publish the video. What is this all about? Welcome to the worst video you've ever seen. So let me just. So distance. Yeah, I tell you what, the reason why I went for these is because I think they are progressive horses, but they are handicapped right up to their best. I believe that my selection, Whistle Stop Tour, I know it's the outside a lot, and you might think, Come on, Charlie, pick one more fancy than that. But I do believe it's by the Lucinda Russell stable, and I think that if it races prominently or even leads, it could be hard to peg back. I'm not convinced over some of the other horses. That's all I'm saying. Some of the more fancied ones. So have a look for yourself. So the next selection is Terry Firma. I've left the price in the 115 at Cheltenham. It's the in fact, no, I wouldn't get vest odds because it's a special race where you get money back. So it's about 20 to 1. I think it just jumped to 18 as I put the bet on. But Terry Firma. So in this race, I think there's question marks again. But I did like how this horse on its debut for Jack Jones. I did like how it flew up the hill. It looked like it was staying on fourth place, and in my opinion, they would have been encouraged with that. But it flew. It absolutely flew when it hit the hill. There's very few horses that do that at Cheltenham. So the fact that it's got Cheltenham form, although some of them has, I think even the one that Dedited is in this race again. I think I've been studying these for about over an hour now, and these are some of the early ones I selected. It flew up the hill. I think it could be a little bit of a slog, or the ground might be underestimated because apparently it's going to be a sunny day with light winds. Well, that's not going to affect them, but that could make people quite easily forget just how tough the going could be. It's soft ground at Cheltenham, which it does take some getting, and I'm thinking that this horse will like the slog. I don't think it jumped that well on its debut. Debut for Jack Jones. But the interesting thing is, Sean Bowen has also took the ride again. And I think it's got a chance. Certainly an each way chance. I think that currently first three. I think there's 9 or 10 runners, so we definitely don't want 7 runners. So the next selection, I really need to check this one now because otherwise I'll be absolutely gutted. Yeah, we've got half a chance still. I know what's going to happen, and I'll be fuming. But the next selection is Spirits Bay at 50 to 1. I've took the price because, as you can see, the best odds guaranteed with the green marker there. So no matter what price it goes to, I'll get the best odds. It's in the 3 o'clock at Cheltenham, and the paying first 2. There's 5 runners, so you can understand my concern because if there's a non-runner, it's got to win. So if there is a non-runner, I'd sooner it be this one. I think this has got a right chance. Constitution Hill, I think it's nowhere near the horse that it was. I don't think the horse that it beat, was it Lossiemouth? This is my sceptical or conspiratorial side. Call it what you want, but I think in these current times, I think you're not conspiratorial. I think your eyes have just been opened. I think Constitution Hill was allowed to win that race. I also think it's in another race today where it'll probably be allowed to win this race again because it's head and shoulders above what it's meeting. I think the Cheltenham, what's it called? I forgot. The champion hurdle at Cheltenham. It'll either be allowed to win that and retired, or it'll be a short price favourite and come nowhere. That's my conspiratorial side. So Spirits Bay. So I find it quite interesting about this horse. It's miles behind, obviously, the ratings with Constitution Hill. It's also comfortably behind the second and third horse that could fill the placings. But this horse, it's been a bit odd, really. I'm sure it ran at Cheltenham on its reappearance, and whatever it did, it was held up towards the rear and made rapid headway and led. Then on its second run, it pressed the leaders and just faded towards the end. I think this horse, I think it's Twiston Davis. Yeah, I think this horse will be sat off the pace and will be doing everything it can to mop up the second place prize money, even though it's miles behind on the ratings. I'm not convinced by Brentford Hope. I think it's a really good horse, but I think could it be an Aintree horse? And also, with a horse like Brentford Hope, and I can't remember what the other one is. It doesn't really matter, but I'm going to show you anyway. Brentford Hope and Fields Do Dare. I think if any of those horses get too close to Constitution Hill, they could find they get a relatively sharpish rise for a good run. And they don't want that. I know this horse will as well, but I just think the race stinks a bit, to be honest. The fourth selection is Famous Bridge. I've left the price. It's about 16s. In the quarter past three race at Doncaster, paying six places instead of four. This horse was 13 to 2, either joint or co-favourite for this race last year. I think it's much better than it's shown so far. 16s or 18s is far too big a price. I do think there's a number of horses with chances in this race, right? And I've actually forgot to back one of them. I think the obvious one is probably Snipe, but I wouldn't put you off Forward Plan if you fancy it. I wouldn't put you off Walking on Air. There's another two that I can fancy. I'm guaranteeing that Flat Cat Callum will have picked that one. He always, not criticism, he always seems to go for the Harry Redknapp, and they always seem to run well for him. So I'm going to say Flat Cat Callum's probably going to go for that one. There's two others I also think I can give a chance to. Earn River, and one very, very, very interesting horse is Arizona Cardinal. It won a race. I think it was at Cheltenham. I think either last year or the beginning part. No, not the beginning part of this year. It was last year. Sorry, it was obviously the beginning part of last year, or it was at Aintree, and it ran a big. It won a big field race. I'm trying to think where it beat James de Beaulay, and that's quite an achievement. Don't get me wrong. It's the second highest horse in the handicap with 11 stone 12. It then ran most recently after wind operation at Cheltenham on the cross country. I think that was a bit of a well, I don't even know what you call it. It was a bit of one of those where an undercover race. Oh, that's hold on a minute. That's Amazon. Thank you very much. See you later. What is this video all about? Anyway, I'm sorry about that. So what I'll do is I'm in bed currently. So here we go. I'm going to get so many downvotes off this. But anyway, Arizona Cardinal. So it was jumping around the cross-country fences. I personally think that was like an undercover run. If it runs well, it's not going to get massively penalised. It's a cross-country race. And I think the first time, I think it's over the cross-country fences for the first time. I think if you've got a wind operation and you're swerving around bends, you're jumping over small fences, large fences, I think that's going to be one of the biggest tests for your wind operation there is. Because whenever you're exercising, this is from experience, like it's like, in my opinion, it's like cross training. It's going to get your heart working because it's something that you don't normally do. And I think this horse could be actually aimed for, whether it's aimed for this race or not, I don't know. But I think it's very interesting angle. But I'm quite happy with Famous Bridge because it's also the. I don't apologise for wiping my nose on my sleeve. It's my work top. I just think it's better than what it's shown so far. So the final selection in this bet is Transmission. I've took the price because I can. It's the best odds guaranteed in the 335 at Cheltenham. So I think this. I do really like the angle of this, and I mean, because I really like the angle, it means it ticks more boxes for me, my selection process, rather than it actually winning or coming placed. It's just a massive tick if what happens is what I've said. So Transmission. Let me just get into the race. I'm not going to keep doing this. I'm not going to keep holding people up because this is not right. I do think Gower Road, even though it's receiving weight, has got a right chance. I don't think it's ungenuine. I think it's a real battler, but I think it's just a bit one-paced. And I've had it in one of my other bets because I do like the look of it. I think that it should be 4 or 5 to 1 Gower Road, but it's that price. I think there's so many question marks. Strong leader, first time after a wind operation. Uh, Crambo. Who knows what Crambo's going to turn up, and does it like soft ground? Not convinced. If it loves soft ground, it probably wins, but I can't have it. Monmiral is Nichols getting his horses ready for Aintree, because I think generally his horses now aren't good enough for Cheltenham, the Cheltenham main meeting. Kerry Hill, I think this one's off a wind operation as well. I'm not going to look, so I'm not going to keep you going for much longer. Botox Heart is an interesting one. I do think it could run a much better race. I think it might lead, but I just don't think it's ready. I do think they will find a race for it where it'll go to the front and surprise and not come back, but I don't think this is it. Transmission, in my opinion, will be. It was doing okay over hurdles, and it's took off over fences all of a sudden. So this race could be a prep race for something else, or it could be used, in my opinion, where they've seen. I do rate Neil Mulholland. I think this race could be one where Conor O'Farrell, which I think is the best jockey for sitting in the at the rear of the race. The problem is a lot of his horses never even enter the race. It's like a lot of them look like non-triers. I'm not saying they are non-triers, but they just look like non-triers. So I think this horse, and this is where the other day Britain's grumpiest old git actually mentioned, well done, Charlie, you got a 40 to 1 place. He actually got it wrong. We got a 40 to 1 winner, but I'm not going to keep talking about that. But I've got your name right anyway. And thanks, sending love from Bernie Winters. Transmission, I think it'll be sat towards the rear. And I think a lot of these horses could be struggling, and I think it might pick them off one by one. I honestly do. I hope it sneaks a place. With the odds, the bookies aren't expecting it to, but it's not the first time they've been wrong. But then again, it's not the first time I've been completely wrong. Whew, I'm warming up. So, I mentioned I'm a bit bonkers. So, I've gone for two horses that are topical. I'm a horse racing tipster, apparently, that I've gone for one that's my name. What? So, yeah, tears are coming again and whatever. It's a 15 pence each way, lucky 31, and 5 to 6. Don't worry, it's best odds guaranteed. I can't see it being shorter than that. I don't normally pick each way, but each way odds on. But if it touches even money, and it wins, it turns into a 30 pence each way, lucky 15. So my friend Sean, it found some form. It's been favourite a few times, but it found some form last time where it absolutely hiked up over the course and distance. I think it's got a chance again, and that's pretty much it. Um, don't go, don't weigh into it because it's one of the shorter prices I've tipped. It'll probably end up coming nowhere because it's extremely unreliable. But I've gone for it because it's my name, and I think I mentioned about seeing that number plate. One of the very next races after thinking about that, I came across this horse. So I'm like, so all those superstitious people out there, don't lump onto this horse. But anyway, it's a 15 pence each way, lucky 31, and a 35 pence each way, fivefold. My friend Sean at 5 to 6. If you're on, sorry, this is a very difficult video for me. If you're on Sky Bet, you can take the price because it's a best odds guaranteed race. It's in the 12:47 at Uttoxeter. The second selection, which I really like, it was going to be in my bet above, but the price has been smashed down from 7/7s to 11 to 2. And as I was doing this video, or just before, it went from 11 to 2 to 9 to 2. I just thought, stuff it, I'll take the price because it's the only one where I shouldn't take the price, but because all the rest are best odds guarantees, I think. But I'm thinking, well, if something nice happens, I might be able to cash out. Moon to Orange at 9 to 2 in the 150 at Cheltenham, paying 4 places instead of 3. Can't remember the reason why, but one of the reasons why is because it's got a lot of Cheltenham form, I believe, or it's got a lot of form in this country. It's a little bit odd, that is, for an Irish trainer. I think there are a lot of question marks over the fancied horses, and I just think it's got a chance. This is an interesting one. I do really like the look of this one. It's Gentleman's Game at 3 to 1. Could be any price now. In the 225 at Cheltenham. The favourite has got an obvious chance, but I believe there is only one horse in this race. Let's say everything stands, nothing falls. Yeah, everything runs its race to a degree. I think this horse, yeah, it's still 3-1. La Press has got an obvious chance, but I think Gentleman's Game, it's recently been rubbing shoulders with Galloping Deschamps and is it is it Fax High or Low, something like that, whatever it's called. It's another very good horse in Ireland at the moment. It's been beaten by them, but it's definitely like been rubbing shoulders with them. But don't get wrong, Long Press has also run against Galopin Deschamps in the, I think that was in the Cheltenham Gold Cup. Gentleman's Game, in my opinion, needs to win this. It's probably same as Long Press to be running in the Gold Cup. Could I go for an each way chance? Well, that'd be a good idea. But in my opinion, if it Stage Star has only got a chance if they walk for the first 2 mile. It's a 2.5 mile horse. I don't think for 1 minute that it stays 3 mile one at Cheltenham. I think this is probably a run to see, does it stay 3 mile? Because if it stays 3 mile on this course, it'll stay 3 mile pretty much anywhere. But I think this is pretty much a prep run. There's probably some free prize money for coming third or fourth. But in my opinion, it can't win. It cannot win. But I can give you ways where it could win, where if it turns into a sprint, but surely Gentleman's Game and Long Press would never turn it into a sprint. Chantry House, I just don't trust it. It's Nicky Henderson, so if I say he can't win, his horses win. Delta Work, in my opinion, is being aimed at the Grand National again. Doesn't mean it can't run on for third or fourth, like like that horse that used to be trained by Whaley Cohen and then went to with Emmett Mullins in the end. Can't remember what the horse is called. Noble Yates. Where's that come from? And then Tommy Bow, I just think it's here for maybe mopping up some prize money in case something falls. Out and out stayer. So that's my reason for going for Gentleman's Game. Fourth selection is another superstitious horse. I've gone for Immortal Flame. Immortal Fame. Can't tell you why. It's a 7-2, and it's a 7 minutes past 3 at Uttoxeter. Immortal is basically, I've gone for it because my superstitious or outlook on possibly why we're here or what happens after. That's why I've gone for it. Two horses that appeared that I couldn't leave out because it was the signs. I don't even know if you'll be able to see me. I've been lying down for the last minute. Gowl Road at 5-2 in the 3:35 at Cheltenham in the Cleeve Hurdle. I believe this horse will go straight to the front. If he gets an easy lead, I still don't think he will accept an easy lead. I think he'll push on in different areas at Cheltenham. I think it'll also kick on from a long way out. Whenever you see its form, it always seems to be like led, headed, rallied, kept on, stayed on, all these kind of things. I believe if it does turn into a bit of a slog, it's not heavy, but it's soft ground at Cheltenham. This horse could turn it into a bit of a test, and I believe that Crambo could cry. Strong leaders wind operation could be tested, and I think after that you've got a lot of question marks over a lot of horses, and that's where I could even get the forecast Gowl Road and Transmission. Daft as it sounds, I might even do that. So I mentioned it here. Whether you do that, it's up to you. It's extremely unlikely that it's going to happen, but why not? So there's the rest of the 75 pence each way singles. Right. Football bet. £7 over 2.5 goals treble and a £3 over 3.5 goals treble. I really hope this is recording. The £7, it's the same matches no matter what, so I just need to show you. £7 over 2.5 goals treble is Bournemouth versus Forest, Coventry versus Watford, and Southampton versus Newcastle. That's another 75 pence each way. I'm just going to confirm there's no more bets. So there's the horse race, the football bet. There's the rest of the singles. There's another single. Just checking that price, that one. Yeah, still 80. Garlaw's an on-runner. Oh, here we go. 7 runners. But I will not say it is what it is. It's what... Oh, I've got to hate that. Anyway, this is where I say my goodbyes. So, keep smiling, everybody. I wish you the very best of luck. This has been revelation. Yeah, I've revealed everything now. So you can call me what you want. I don't mind. whether it's by my name or whether it's by Charlie. But at least, I wasn't lying to anybody. I've been under the pseudonym of Charlie for a reason, because it was my horse racing name. So I wish you all the luck in the world, all the happiness in the world, the very best of luck in the world, and enjoy your day, whatever you decide to do. My mate is hopefully coming round. I'm going to crack open the cheap cider. I ought to do a watch along, didn't I? So you could see my Saturdays of drinking a bit of cheap cider, not getting annihilated, but just getting a bit like, well, I don't. I normally fall asleep after about 2 pints. So I wish the very best of luck. The tears are coming again. The very best of luck. Charlie Winters over and out. Cheers, mate.